Seems to be something missing from there. It's not there anymore. Yes, this will be the final Jazz vlog because I've sold the car now. It was a tough decision to make, and something that I genuinely think I will regret probably by tomorrow actually. But it was one of those cars that I built it as a K20, and at the time I had a turbo Civic, and the plan was to have the K20 Jazz and then use the EP3 turbo and make that into an all-wheel drive car. And then one morning I woke up and decided I just couldn't be bothered with that, and I wanted to buy myself an all-wheel drive turbo car, so I bought myself an Evo, which is another thing I might regret as well. But yeah, so I had an Evo and I had the Jazz, and I ran around in the Jazz every day, and it was a great car, but it also sort of started creating a bit of a problem, which was the Jazz, which originally was a project that was technically completed because the K-swap was the project, and the Civic was the next project that I sold. The Evo is almost, in my opinion, a perfect-ish car for B roads and everyday driving. It makes you short of 400 horsepower, which is plenty on a B road. It grips well and it goes well, and to be honest, I don't think they're a great looking car anyway. So that was never a project, which is what I mean by saying I may regret buying it. But to do anything more to an Evo's, like, well, I can't afford that because I think engine builds are like 10 grand or something. They're ridiculous money because it's an Evo 9, so it just adds to the prices. So the Evo was never going to be a project and could never be a project, but that's fine because I always wanted one and I now have one, so I will just keep it and sit on it and just drive around it occasionally. So that then meant, could the Jazz be the next project car? But not really, because the Jazz was the everyday car. And it was technically at 229 horsepower, I think it was great. It didn't need to be much more. Things I could have done to it would have been brakes, which meant I would have needed new wheels, so that would have doubled the cost of fitting brakes to it. I could have put a limb slip diff in it, but that's like £1,000 for a gearbox or more now. Actually, it seems to be a lot more expensive. Then I could have supercharged it, but that's about another 3 grand. Then I could have turboed it another 3 grand. I could have put throttle bodies on it, maybe look at it another 3 grand. So it would have also meant that the car wouldn't have been the ideal sort of driving car for every day. So then I would have been in a bit of a problem there, because then I would have had 2 cars that I didn't particularly want to use every day, but I could have used every day. So the Evo isn't an everyday car, although it was back in 2006 or whatever, I guess, when people first bought them. But at 3,500 miles per oil change, and well, servicing's quite expensive, it's not something that I'm willing to use every day. Whereas the Jazz was cheap to run, nothing was expensive on it, and in fairness to it, in 12 months it never actually let me down. It never broke down. The only things that ever stopped me using it was the front brakes died, and the back brakes died, and the gear cables melted because they rested on the exhaust manifold. But I wrapped them in metal heat shield, that sorted that. Obviously changed the brakes, which is serviceable items I guess, and that sorted that. So there was no problems with the Jazz. I used it virtually every day since, well, pretty much a year ago when it was actually K-swapped. So it's a bit of a shame not to have it now. So I now need to look for another car, and this other car is going to be, it's not going to be something that's going to be engine swapped, I don't think. I doubt it, but I need to look at something that I can kind of do bolt-on mods for a bit, it's going to make it fun. Maybe buy something that's already a little bit fun, and then do little bolt-on mods to it to make it a little bit more fun. I haven't really got an idea of what I'm looking at the minute. So I don't know where I'm going to go, and I'm not sure when I'm going to buy something. I may buy something to tie me over for winter and then look again in sort of like February, March time and buy another car. I don't know yet, we'll see. But yeah, it's kind of regrets that I'm finishing my Jazz vlog with I've sold it instead of carrying on and doing what I wanted to do to it. Well, actually that's wrong, because I did everything I wanted to do to it, so there wasn't really much more I wanted to do to it, which is kind of why I sold it. But genuinely, it's probably been the best car I've owned for 15 years. So if anybody wants to do a K-swap Jazz, I'd fully recommend it, because they're pretty brilliant. They're great fun, and they're pretty fast, and they just cost nothing to run. Also, it's not an EP3, so people don't expect it to be fast, which is again quite funny. So yeah, that's the end of the Jazz. It's gone on to its new owner, and hopefully I still get to see it. I believe they may start a YouTube channel. I already have one actually, and they've maybe renamed it. I can't remember what it was now. If I get the name, I'll put it in the link actually in the description of this video, so you can, if you want to watch more about the green Jazz, you can follow it on there hopefully, and yeah, hopefully they carry on with it. The other thing actually worth mentioning is that out of all the things that we did when we built the Jazz, we didn't do anything with it other than drive it around as an everyday car. So maybe I regret not taking it and doing track days. Maybe I should have gone and done some quarter miles. Maybe I should have gone to car shows. You know, maybe I should have done that sort of thing with it. I don't know. That might have changed my opinion on keeping it. But to be honest, once you got to the point where you've kind of done the majority of what you wanted to, you've got to kind of move it on. So on it goes. So thanks for everyone that's watched all the Jazz videos, and if any of them have been any help to anybody, fantastic. And if they haven't, tough, do it yourself. But yeah, probably the best car I've sold, best car I've owned in 15 years. Anyway, on to the next one, maybe. Thanks for watching.